Welcome back, everyone. It's me. And today we're going to talk about a scary ghost story that happened to one person. So this is a true paranormal story from Reddit. It happened to me when I was a teenager. I had just gotten my license and bought my first car, a 2001 Honda Civic. The day after I got it, I went on a drive with a friend of mine who I'll call Max. We were driving down a country road and the windows were down. Suddenly, we heard what sounded like heavy footsteps on the roof of the car, like someone was running on top of it. Obviously, we both freaked out. We looked around to see if there was anyone around, but there was nothing there. It was literally in the middle of nowhere. And then we started hearing heavy footsteps again, so we started driving faster. Then the footsteps got faster and louder, almost as if whatever was up there was trying to get into the car. Then they stopped. Well, not knowing what else to do, we continued on down the road, trying to ignore what had just happened. About 5 minutes later, the footsteps started up again, even louder than before, and it felt like the car was shaking. My friend and I screamed at the top of our lungs, and he slammed his foot on the gas. We didn't stop driving until we got home. Neither of us wanted to speak. I don't think either of us believed in ghosts prior to this. But after that experience, we both did. We never told anyone about what happened until years later. This past summer, I decided that I needed a new car, and I sold my old one. A few days later, I saw a post on a local selling group where someone was selling a 2001 Honda Civic, one that looked exactly like mine. I reached out to them and asked if they knew the previous owner. They said that they got it from a relative who recently passed away. The relative was the original owner, and they only used it for church functions. Well, I asked where the car had been kept while it was being used for church functions, because I couldn't help but wonder if the car sat outside or maybe in a garage. They said that it was always kept inside. So I asked them if they knew anything about the car's history prior to that. They said no, and that seemed kind of strange to me. So I decided to walk around the car, look under the hood. ESA! As I was walking around the car, I noticed what appeared to be some very recent scratches on the driver's side door. Big, deep scratches. The guy who was selling it said that he hadn't done it. He had just got it from his relative, and he could believe that they were unable to keep it clean. I asked him if I could take it for a spin to make sure that it ran well. He said yeah. As I was driving it, I decided to play some music really loud to drown out any potential noises. But then I started hearing footsteps. I assumed that it was my imagination. So I turned the music off, and then I heard him again. Heavy footsteps on the roof of the car. I started driving faster, and then I heard the footsteps getting faster and louder, as if whatever was on the roof was trying to get in. I turned around and headed right back to the guy. I told him that something weird was going on and that I wasn't interested anymore. He said, "Dude, you're messing with me, right?" And I said, "No." And I left. The next day, I messaged him and asked him how the car had sold. He said it didn't. He couldn't get rid of it fast enough. He practically gave it to the tow company. That's how uneasy he was with it. I asked him if he heard anything while he was driving it, and he said yes. He said that he kept hearing footsteps on the roof, the same ones that I heard. But here's the kicker. He also said that he could have sworn he saw the shadow of a man running along the side of the car. He said that he never told anyone this before, because he didn't want to seem crazy. But since I told him that I heard it too, he figured that he should tell me. After hearing his message, I did some digging. I found out that the car had been in an accident in 2005 where the driver lost control and hit a tree. The driver's side door was heavily damaged, and after seeing the condition of the door and comparing it to the damage that was described, I believe that the accident was the reason that the door was replaced. I believe that the man who died in the accident is the ghost that's in the car. I can only assume that he was trying to get into the car to see who was driving it. I still have the messages between myself and the previous owner. If you would like to see those, let me know, and I'll post them in the comments section. If anyone has any advice on what to do Please let me know. I don't want to keep the car any longer than I have to. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. So this ghost story was originally posted on Reddit by user u/lucky number 73, and it is pretty crazy, right? Like, just the fact that the dude sold his car and then immediately found out that the person that bought it didn't want it anymore because it was so creepy. That's interesting. But then the fact that the guy that bought the car also experienced the same exact thing that the original owner experienced. It makes you wonder, are these two people just making this all up? I mean, that would be kind of crazy if they made all of this up, especially the second guy, right? Because he purchased the car. I mean, why would you purchase a car if you already know that there's a ghost in it? But I think that this is a real story. And here's why I think that. Number one, the original owner sells the car. I mean, come on. Who does that? Who sells their car the day after they buy it? No one. Not unless it turns out that the car is haunted. And even then, you know, most people would probably still try to sell it, but they wouldn't do it so quickly. It just doesn't make sense. And also the fact that the original owner was willing to sell the car for practically nothing, right? Like he gave it to the tow company. So obviously this guy was scared. And that's why he gave it to the tow company. He didn't want it anymore. There's no way that someone would willingly give away their brand new car unless it was haunted. And this isn't even the craziest part of the story. Wait till I tell you about this. So if you look at the comments, someone actually responded to the original Reddit post with an update. And here's what they said. This happened to me in my great uncle's 1964 Chevy pickup. I was driving down a country road with two friends when we started hearing what sounded like hell. When we looked up, we saw nothing. Then we started hearing footsteps near the cab of the truck. I could feel the vibration of the steps through the seat. Thinking it was a trick of my imagination, I put the radio on. The steps then became more pronounced and louder. We rolled down our windows, and my friends and I screamed bloody murder as heavy thuds could be heard all around the truck. Being from the city and having no real-life experience, we thought that maybe a bear or a mountain lion was attacking the truck. When we finally stopped and got out of the car, we saw no sign of any animal or any damage to the vehicle. We drove the rest of the route in near silence, arriving at our destination shaking and pale as ghosts. My great-uncle had the truck until he passed away. Over 50 years. One day he mentioned that there was a dent on the passenger side of the truck bed. Was there when he bought it in 1964. My cousin, who was visiting at the time, went to see the dent. The dent was shaped like a foot. My cousin and I, being lifelong skeptics, decided to investigate further. On a subsequent visit, I brought a friend who had a metal detector. We spent hours scanning the entire bed. With no luck, the dent was shallow and smooth, offering nothing for the detector to pick up. At this point, we were ready to chalk it up to my great-uncle's overactive imagination until we tried one more thing. We moved the pickup into a closed garage and went to sleep in the house. During the night, we were awakened by sounds of heavy footsteps moving around the garage. In the morning, we rushed out to the garage to find the pickup's toolbox was wide open and several tools were missing. They were later found in the house, having fallen through the ceiling. So yeah, there's an update to this story. I mean, you talk about proof, right? Like tools falling through the ceiling that can't be explained. That's proof that there's ghosts in your garage. And then the fact that this guy also experienced the same thing that the original owner experienced. It's just crazy. I mean, this isn't a story that you hear every day. Like, this is a story that was actually scary. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe because we have tons of paranormal stories just like this one. But anyways, thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one.